Hey, Determined Destiny family, it's Coach Kevin coming back at you with another video for the Determined Destiny family. As always, I want to encourage you guys to take a look at our YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel at Determined Destiny. This is where we host our videos, and this is where you can get this content regularly. So I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel as we get more subscribers and more interaction via my email, kevphillips90@gmail. Then this will allow us to continue to study, research, put out good content for our young men who are being more determined about their destiny. As we tackle 2021 and the challenges of 2021, I am committed to ensuring that I stay at this work, regardless of whether we have water, whether we have power, whether we have people backing us or not. I am committed to the work of helping our young men be the best that they can be, despite any obstacle that may come their way. So, want to encourage you guys, check out the website, determineddestiny.org. It's new, it's fresh, it's got a new look to it, it's got new content to it with some articles that you can read, some coaching calls that you can sign up for between myself or Coach Melvin or Coach Manny, and so that you guys can have an opportunity to dig into a deeper conversation if that's what you need for you and your young man as you work through and navigate the challenges that they may be facing as they're growing up. Determined Destiny is a program that's designed to change the life of young men between the ages of 8 and 21. Our focus is ensuring that they have the skills that they need to be successful in life. And it's not rocket science, but it is something that has to be intentional, and we have to be diligent about the work that we put in with our young men. Because, I mean, let's face it, in today's society, young men today face more challenges than they ever have in society, between girls and distractions with social media and social situations that they're challenged with, and trying to get to college and trying to figure out who they are and trying to figure out are they good enough? Are they good enough to make it in today's world? And we want to equip them with the mindset and the thinking that it takes to be successful in today's society. So hang in there with us. It's going to continue to get better as we work through this. And you want to be able to say that you've been a part of this family from the beginning, and you've gotten the content and the materials and the coaching situations that have helped your young man get better. You know, it's better to be able to say that, you know, you invested a little money, you invested a little time, and it helped produce your young man into something that you can be proud of, versus, I wish I would have participated in that, or I wish I would have spent more time talking about those situations or working with them on those situations. So I just encourage you, don't hesitate, don't wait, don't sit there and think, oh, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. Be willing to put in some time with us and work with us so that we can help your young man be the best that he can be. Today's conversation, we're going to continue talking about thought, perception, and reality. Our thoughts, our perceptions, and our realities. And today I'm going to talk about our thoughts, and I'm going to dig deeper into those thoughts, and more specifically around fear versus caution, because there's a difference there. Should you fear something, or should you be cautious about something? And we have to know the difference about that. So let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why you think certain things? Why does certain things come into our mind? Like, where do our thoughts come from? You know, and I know you guys are going to say, oh, well, it just pops into our minds. Yeah, that's kind of true. But why do we have the thoughts that we have? You know, our thoughts, they come from what's put into our mind, from what we watch, what we read, what we listen to, the environment that we're involved in. Those external forces begin to sink down into our brains and get into our subconscious and just appear at different moments and different times without us even engaging them a lot of times. So that's why we have to be very cautious of what we put into our brains, what we're reading, whether it's in a magazine, in a book, in social media, advertising, magazines, whatever the case may be. We have to be very cautious about what we put into our minds, because that thing is going to reappear at some point in time. Okay? And so I want to ask you and get you to think about, like, what are you feeding your mind? Because what we feed our mind, or what others have fed into our minds, will definitely affect our thoughts. So if you're in an environment, or we create an environment for our young men where they're constantly taking in negative thoughts from, or negative words or negative comments from others, then it's very hard to build a positive self-esteem, because we don't have any positive to draw off of. So make sure that what we're pouring into our young men is positive, whether it's from what they read, what they hear from music or TV, or what they hear from us verbally. It has to be positive, because that's what's going to create their thoughts when they're sitting around and things are just popping into their head. You know, the Bible tells us, so a man thinketh, so is he. That's his reality. What he's thinking about is his reality. So let's get a little bit more specific about this. And I want to talk about the difference between fear and caution. Because fear, it's simply a state of mind that paralyzes us not to take action. It keeps us from being our best self. I mean, let's think about this. Is fear a tangible object that we can grab hold of? Or is it something that we develop in our minds that is not really something that you can put your finger on, but it's a state of mind that we develop, and it causes us to be paralyzed and not move in a particular situation? I'll use an example here. Let's think about a young man who likes a girl. This is an interesting topic and conversation here. He likes a girl, and he sees her sitting across the cafeteria. And in his heart, he can feel his heart rate get up when he sees her. He feels the increase. He feels the blood pumping. And he gets excited, and he knows everything within him is attracted to that person. But then he begins to think about the negative consequences that could come if he walked over there. He doesn't know what's going to happen if he walks over there and says, "Hi, I'm Kevin. What's your name?" And enter into that conversation with her. He doesn't know what's going to happen. But if he's been inundated and filled with fear thoughts, then he's not even going to take that chance of going over there and saying hi and having that positive relationship that could develop from that opportunity because of fear. We don't want our young men to be bogged down with fear. We want them to be strong and confident in everything that they do. Now let's take this to a real world situation. We know that at some point in time, all of our young men are going to have to go and interview for a job, or ask for a bank loan, or have an interview to get into a college of some sort. And we want them to be strong and confident, not fearful. So we got to be really aware of the things that we're pouring into their head, because it's going to develop their thought patterns. Okay? So keep that in mind as we talk through this. Now, fear is a state of mind that paralyzes us. It paralyzes us to not take action, keeps us from being our best self. Let's think about something that we're all dealing with right now that may have brought on a lot of fear for us. COVID-19. It's a real virus. It is real as it can be. And we take it serious. And we should take it serious. But should we fear this thing? Or should we just be cautious about this thing and the way that we are living our lives with this virus out there? Should we fear it or be cautious about it? You know, we have some very clear measures on how to protect ourselves from this. You can get the vaccine, you wear your mask, you wear your gloves, you sanitize, you wash your hands often. So there's some clear ways to protect ourselves from this versus staying locked up in our house and being paralyzed and not doing anything out of our fear. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'll be the first to tell you that I was locked up in the house for a long time. Not out of fear necessarily, but from the caution that we were told to take with this thing. We stayed put and we listened to the professionals as it pertained to how to deal with this virus. And now that it's been some months, several months dealing with this, and we've come up with some resolutions to this and ways to protect ourselves from this, I'm not going to live in fear. And this is me personally. I want to throw a disclaimer out there. You do what you feel like you and your family need to do. But we need to be aware of the difference between fear and caution, because we're still determined about our destiny. We're still going to work to be the best that we can be in spite of this virus that has disrupted all of our lives. We still have to do the things that we know in our gut we should be doing, because even though this virus is here, we still have life to live. And my heart pours out to the families and the victims of this virus. And I read a report earlier this week that said that we are approaching 500,000 people that have fallen victim to this virus. And my heart goes out to those families and those people that have fallen victim to this virus. And so while I'm telling you to be aware of the caution versus the fear, you have to do what you feel is right. But I want to encourage you to not let your destiny stop because of this virus. Your path and your work towards your son or your young man's destiny should not stop because of this virus. And maybe you continue to work towards that destiny in your home, in a safe environment with minimal movement outside of the home, if that's what you so choose, as long as you continue to work towards obtaining your child's destiny, your son's destiny. And really that's what this all is all about. Can you continue to work towards being determined about the destiny of your young man in a safe manner? Can you do it with caution? Don't be filled with fear. Be determined about your young man's destiny in the midst of this pandemic. Don't be filled with fear. Be wise, definitely. Be wise about your approach to what you're doing and how you're doing it. But don't let the fear paralyze you to where you don't do anything. Your young man doesn't do anything to continue to take steps towards his destiny. I know this is going to help some people. And I know some people are going to be on the fence and say that I'm not taking this serious enough. And I don't want you to make that mistake and think that I'm not taking it serious, because I know that it's very serious. But I just believe that we as a nation, we as building our young men, an organization that's working on building young men, do not want to operate in the spirit of fear. We want to operate with caution, definitely, but not with fear. So keep that in mind. I'm Coach Kevin. We are working towards helping our young men be more determined about their destiny in spite of the obstacles that's before us. Remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that button below, and subscribe. Check us out at determineddestiny.org and sign up for a service. We can be of a great assistance to you if you just give us a chance. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.